What's happening, people, and welcome to this week's episode of It's All Blakademik with your host, myself, Jordan Jarrett-Bryan. And this week on the show, we'll be debating the importance of lyrics in music. And to do so, I've got a panel here. I'll get to them in just a minute. But before I announce my panel, a big shout out to all of our socials. If you're not following us across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we're on all of that goodness, as well as obviously you're watching this channel now. So subscribe. The button's down there somewhere, the red one, just click it, subscribe. And you'll get some weekly content from us at Blakademik TV. Right, let's get to my panel. I'm joined by Nick Scott here, music podcast host and writer. I've also got broadcaster and radio journalist Claire Clotty, and I've got UK hip hop artist Rodney P. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Right, I'm gonna start with you, Claire. Let's kick off with your opinion on how much importance you put on lyrical content in music.
It's really funny because anyone who knows me really well will laugh and say, Claire never knows the lyrics to songs. I'm one of those ones that remixes everything I hear.
You make up your own little version.
I make up my own lyrics, and it's probably a good thing because if I knew what I was singing sometimes, I'd be like, whoa, what am I putting out there to the universe? What am I, how am I depicting myself? So now that I have a 7-year-old daughter who is very sharp, I put on the radio and she's singing certain songs and she's leaving certain words out. She's conscious that I'm not really allowed to say this. I'm not really allowed to say that. I'm thinking, no, I really need to pay attention. And actually, I have been paying way more attention and listening back to music that I listened to as a child and thinking, wow, how was I able to moderate? How was I able to keep a balance? There was no guidance when I was singing Colour Me Bad, I Want to Sex You Up at 8 years old, because that's when it came out. But I didn't ever associate it with sex. However, I think now children and we're all more aware. We've got information. We've got images to match the words. So it's very important that we understand what we're saying when we're singing along to certain songs. I
want all three of you to, as the show goes along, to think of a track that has lyrical content that really invokes an image of violence or sex or love or passion. Just one track. I want you to think. I'm going to ask you at the end of the show to think of one track that for you lyrically really resonates with a particular emotion. But let me ask you, Nick, do you place a lot of importance on lyrics and words in music?
I think, like you said, Claire, I think we're in a place where we're in a politically sensitive climate. We're in a social climate where a lot of things are being analysed, and we can get those lyrics on tap in like 10 seconds on Genius or something like that. So I think it is important to me to kind of assess what I'm listening to and the impact that has going forward into kind of my mindset and all that, because we are in an age of media, hypermedia, that does have an impact on you societally. I'm not going to just blame it on one genre or music in general. It's across media. So I personally take a stance of I just analyze the lyrics that I'm looking at and, just reflect on what I'm listening to. If it's like, say, an album, a rap album, for example, I'm just listening back and seeing what the actual lyrical content is. So it's important to me, but I don't place importance of it onto other people, like kind of demonize them if they listen to certain genres. It's a personal choice, I think, and it's a thing that we do on an individual level.
Rodney, as someone that is a lyricist and writes music, talk us through the process of when you're creating a track. What for you in the balance of importance is top? Is it the bass line? Is it the beat? Or is lyrical content paramount?
For me, it always begins with the lyrics because I'm a writer, so I write lyrics. But as a fan of the music, I often don't really care. Like often, it's more about the energy and the vibes in the moment, and depends on what I'm looking for. I'm as big a Public Enemy fan as I am an NWA fan. And they both feed my need at different times. So, I don't think it's always essential that the lyrics and the songs are offering this positive outlook on life and everything will be golden and rosy. But I also think we need to be aware of, negative energy and negative lyrics can lead us down dark paths. Absolutely. We have to take responsibility for the words we say and for the things we listen that let our children listen to. I'm like you, I have young girls in the house and I listen back to some of the music that I play and think, well, I just can't play this now. Like they're not allowed to listen to that now.
So when you're writing lyrics, are you always conscious of the impact it may have on a fan listening, or is it this is a lyric that rhymes well or works well with the previous line, and it's quite cute and clever?
There's an
that's
element
more
of
important.
That. There's an element.
Even if you know, say it doesn't impact.
There's definitely an element of that. As an MC, you know, your flow and your cadence and all of that is important. So words that rhyme are important. But if you're trying to express a message, which sometimes some songs I will write purely for the purpose of getting my point across on whatever it may be. And that is the main focus. And sometimes I'm just trying to show how lyrically gifted I am and how much I can flip the word plays, which is a different kind of skill set, you know? But personally, I always take responsibility for what I say. I don't mean to say anything ridiculously outlandish or controversial just for the sake of it. I can't say that has always been the case. Like I'm a lot older now. And as a young boy, hey, if I could say something that would make you screw up your face and be shocked, that would be whatever that is, I would say it. As an older person now, I take more responsibility and think a little bit more about what I'm saying and what kind of trail it will leave behind.
That's right. Legacy is very, very important. And I guess when you're younger, you just want to be recognized. You want people to be able to identify you.
It's about impact.
Yeah, and it's about being creative and be out. You know, I want to be seen. I want to be heard. And music is an amazing platform to give young people a voice. What concerns me though is that the story that we're hearing it's a reflection of the society that we're living in, and it's so sad that for some young people it is dark. It is draining. It is a serious energy. I rarely see lots of laughing and giggling and joking and banter. And I'm like, you know, that's sad.
My thing is, I was just going to say that I feel like some artists are monopolizing off of that actually and faking their narratives and stuff like that even more so now. I mean, across time, I know in genres such as hip hop, there were people that genuinely lived those experiences that they spoke about. But I think that now there are in subgenres such as trap, for example, people who exploit that and who actually don't live that life. 6ix9ine is a huge example of that. He's facing a huge prison sentence because of it, because of affiliation, because of the fake narrative it kind of fed into his real life. But I think, yeah, like you said, some facets of music and actually genres such as rock as well have this influence as well. There is negative connotations and there's some frauds in there who are just exploiting that.
I think sometimes we put too much of the responsibility on the artist though. I think the fact that in this window of time, there is so much negative music, and I feel it. I feel like, especially within the genres that I love, there's so much negative being pushed to the forefront, but the artists don't get to choose that. Like, you know, radio and TV and media get to choose that, and the brands. Who do you want to bring in? What image do you want to set?
And that's why I'm putting the onus on, because some of these record labels are literally churning out the same manifestations of each other.
They're churning out this negative, bad energy, which again, I don't say shouldn't exist, but there needs to be a fairer and clearer playing
So what you're
field.
saying is that radio and TV picks up deliberately on the negative hip hop as opposed to the more positive.
Absolutely.
It's sensational. Everyone likes a bit, you know, sensation sells. The brands love it. It creates a hype. There's adrenaline going. It's fast. No one likes mellow chill. Well, I like mellow chill, but the media aren't about that.
But see, again, I don't believe it is the minority. Within society, I think society is quite balanced, and there's lots of dark and aggressive stuff happening, but there's also lots of love being shown, lots of it. But we're not really seeing that in the music. I know for sure within hip hop music, there are lots of artists making much more positive and creative music than is at the forefront of hip hop right now. I know it for a fact.
Is there a level amongst maybe our generation of hypocrisy in the sense that we all talk about, we believe that, women should be treated with respect. We believe that young black male lives that are the most in danger should be preserved. But yet some of the biggest tunes that we probably dance to in the clubs and recite when, in our younger days are tunes that
deliver actually made in my younger days. So I have to take responsibility for some of the stuff I've said in the past, no doubt.
I'm sure we've danced to those tunes. So is there a little bit of hypocrisy in we're saying we're positivity, yet some of the biggest tunes that we love and dance to are negative tunes?
I just spoke about this the other day, like Rick Ross, Pop Molly in her drink, she didn't even know it. Like, yes, there was radio silence after it got massive controversy, but I still heard that in the club. I still heard people, and the uncensored version, so the Pop Molly in her drink. And that just reflects a culture that's existed across entertainment widely in terms of people popping drinks in girls' drinks and popping pills in girls' drinks to get them to do stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? So that happens now. There's examples of songs we could probably pull up that were released last week. There is this hypocrisy, and when women do speak out about their truths in entertainment, they are often ignored, or it's like focused on for a minute, but then when the actor, this song bangs, they're like, I'm still going to play it. Do you know what I mean? So there is that hypocrisy there.
And And we've all got to take responsibility because, Simon says, Pharaoh Munch, girls rub on your, I didn't even have anything to rub on, but I was getting involved in that track. And I think the most important thing, though, was the self-regulation. Going home knowing that you couldn't carry on with that behaviour at home, or it stopped when the track stopped, and that was it. Doesn't mean that it didn't have an impact on the psyche of the guys around me who thought, oh, yeah, she's about that life because she's well involved in that song. And there's still... I do like a little bit of, what's his name, Trey Songz, and yeah, I wouldn't be listening to Trey Songz with my daughter. Mm-hmm. But it's. I
mean, we do have to be able to separate the message from them. Sometimes we're out to be entertained, and we are adults and can make those choices. That's right. But we have to be aware of the reality. For me, I always say, as a young hip hop fan, a group like Public Enemy got me as a young boy to go to the library. From listening to Public Enemy records and wanting to find out about Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan and all of this, it's this information I was given, it sent me on a journey. Yeah. So I know the reverse of that is happening now. If these young people are on a different journey, they're being fed lots of negative and foul energy. Some of these kids are bad kids, but now they talk with this vernacular, and beer man and and all of this talk that comes from the energy they're getting from the music. It sends you on a different journey. So not to blame the artists. Again, it's not about, I'm not trying to censor artists and what they say. Say whatever you like. But we need a fairer and clearer playing field.
Yeah, and I think context comes into it. I'm really glad you used a positive example of and then to flip it, because I think a lot of people get angry when this is brought up, lyrics actually do impact. But I think it's a point of, obviously, it feeds into a wider picture. Obviously, societal things, they could have got kicked out of school, all of that. We know there's other bigger factors in the play. But let's not be disingenuous here and say that lyrics don't contribute to that or manifest that further or lead that path onwards if they are already on that trajectory. Do you know what I mean?
I want to pick up on that point. So let's address the elephant in the room. The current popular genre amongst the youth of London in particular is drill music.
Not London in particular. Nah, drill is very popular and global, actually.
Because it started with Chicago. Well, not started, but there was a manifestation of Chief Keef.
Chief Keef was like the guy who really brought that into my being. And that has gone forward.
It's popular amongst the young people. We'll say that. A lot of black people in particular get very defensive when drill music is attributed to crime and what's happening on our streets right now. And I get why. But do we have to have an honest conversation about saying, as you said there, it does have an impact on what's happening on the streets? And we can't, as a black community, shy away from the fact that a lot of this music is playing a role in a lot of our young black men in particular being killed. Let's just not.
100%.
Do you know what? I think I agree. I agree that it does have an impact, but I think where the imbalance comes from and where the anger comes from is the media. And I think that's where it comes in. And the manipulation of the likes of Piers Morgan, I don't even want to give him credit, but the likes of Piers Morgan, all those kind of platforms that just manifest it and twist this. Rock, as I mentioned earlier, still has these kind of problematic lyrics in it as well. Pop music, Robin Thicke, I know you wanted all that controversy a couple of years ago. It still existed in different ways. So we can say that drill can and does impact, obviously, our lives, black men's life, black women's life, whatever. But I think the media aggravate that and make people don't want to have that conversation. We have to have it get amongst us, which is why I'm glad you have this platform. So yeah, amongst us where we can balance it out, you know what I mean? And really get into the nuance here, because there's nuance and there's levels to it. It's not just a blanket statement, black men because of this do this, and that lineage in the media that really just kind of exploits us and makes us look like the bad guys in every single context that they can think of.
For me, whether the media magnify it, exploit it, or what have you not, for me, the issue is this is a reality that is affecting, whether it's a minority of young people, it's affecting young people who look like me, who could be my son, nephew, next door neighbor, and that concerns me. So whether or not there's a public debate about it, or there's an actual on the ground movement to support young people who are involved in this, because at the end of the day, when I was younger, we didn't have social media to antagonize people. We didn't have to. Subliminals. Do they mean that? Do they not mean that? Are they talking about me? There's no support around the young person to understand that actually your behavior now can affect you, or what you do on the screen can affect you later on. And I don't think young people understand that that can carry you. I watched this amazing thing on Chief Keef, and it was looking at those who are around him and the amount of young people, or men, black men, who were affected by just being in that environment, whether they were dead, whether they were in prison for killing someone. it was the numbers, they were just falling off like flies. And I thought, this is huge.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that, everything you said is right. But I also think that when we have that conversation, it's a conversation that we need to have in spaces like this, because I think when we do it in the main media, the agenda is not for us. It's not for us, So automatically, even me, I become defensive when I don't talk about our young people in that way, because I already know better. So it's not really a conversation that I want to shy away from. I'm more than happy to have it. I just don't want it being had in that way. It seems like, for want of a better word, and it's always branded, it's just racist. Like, they look at our young black people and our young black, as menaces, and they're already a problem. Yeah. So this music is just more of the same. It's to be expected from our young people, and that's not being fair.
Sorry, I just want to say an example of that was it was a similar thing, documentary of Chief Keef. It was Noisy's, they were Chirac, they called it Chirac, and they kind of just made it trivialized and all that. And Chicago citizens actually went to the documentary person and were like, oh, did you actually fund the community when you were doing this? Did you actually give back? Did you actually help or anything? It's just the, white man going into a black space and kind of exploiting it and just discussing the facts and sensationalizing them, but then leaving again. Like, you left all those people
and offering nothing.
Yeah.
Offering nothing, exactly.
Right.
I definitely want to see more opportunities for grassroots organisations to help young people produce music, write lyrics, take them to environments where they could be inspired to write something different. Just to test it. Yeah.
I would say to you, actually, like, not on a mass scale, but this stuff already happens. But this is the stuff that you never hear about, because it's not entertaining for Mr. Middle England. She doesn't want to hear about that. She would rather hear about the angry black guys stabbing each other. Much more entertaining story.
But the other thing is, it's not sustainable. That's the problem. You get a pocket of money, you do a great project, and then it's done. Then where do the young people...
I've done that many times. I've been funded to do projects like that, and it's exactly what you say. And you do this amazing work and you get these amazing results, and then you're back to square one. Yeah. And you have to go through the process.
I do want to shout out, while we're having this discussion, Forefront. Stormzy actually had her on a cover. Temi, she's an amazing woman. She's been on the news platform. She tackles youth crime, knife crime in particular as well. So she's on the floor. She's been doing this for 5 years, self-started. So she's killing it.
All right, let's move it forward now, guys, and let's broaden it beyond what our young people are listening to and writing. And I don't want to sound all old manny here a little bit, but
I'm probably the oldest here, by the way. I'm probably the oldest, to be honest.
Is the lyrical content generally that's been written across pop, R&B, hip hop, whatever, is it just not as clever? Is it just not as meaningful and impactful as it was 20, 30 years ago?
Now you're going to make us sound like some old people.
Maybe it is. I'm just genuinely like...
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that.
What other genres where you're still seeing and hearing really clever, meaningful in hip hop?
Hip hop. J. Cole, Mick Jenkins, Lupe Fiasco still out here. Like, there's so many. 21 Savage. Oh my that video Lord. Dropped yesterday. It was amazing, man. I was watching it on the way here. He's incredible. J. Cole is my guy, like number one on my list. Like, he's amazing. Mick Jenkins.
He stands up.
But is the number percentage wise of hip hop artists who are great lyricists anywhere near to what it was there 25 years ago?
I think they're just not on the I just think they're not on the forefront. But if you look at who's the top in rap, J. Cole's one of the three. It's Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. So they're still top lyricists, and Kendrick is phenomenally talented in the lyrical department, arguably a bit better than J. Cole. And J. Cole's my favorite. So
we mustn't be fooled by what we're being fed, and like there's lots of artists who are perceived as being really big and really successful, who aren't actually that big and successful and don't move that many. Look at the numbers, and then people like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, who sit in a much more humbler position, but actually do huge numbers. So. And that's, again, for me, part of the problem. If these guys who are so positive are the ones who are making such huge numbers, why aren't we looking for more people like them? Why are we just feeding this negative narrative so hard? And I question it. I question it more than just You know, it's the guys who turn up at the record label. Sometimes these labels have agendas against
Definitely
us.
have
I believe
agendas.
that.
They 100%, and I've seen that.
It's okay to you know, sometimes you just want light-hearted banter and tunes. I'm not saying that the whole, you know, soca genre is light-hearted and banter, but I love it for that. I'm happy. I'm in the kitchen. I'm smiling. I don't even know what they're talking about half the time, but I'm happy. So it's okay.
I like Noriega, who did Superfar, going, what? That was my tune. So it's not always, I don't need to be
harmony. What were they saying? I don't know. But you just, you know.
Carnival incites that as well. Certain roads in Carnival too. Yeah.
So what about R&B? I'm more of an R&B man, me, even from now and from 30 years ago. Are the lyrics we're hearing in R&B and to some degree pop tracks, are they as meaningful, loving? Do they connect in a way?
See, I think they are. There are still some real, genuine storytellers, and sometimes those stories are so real, but they're painful. And when you feel moved by a song, it's normally something that is sensitive. So it might not necessarily be positive or happy and progressive, but it touches you. And people want to be moved by music as well. So they want to be really able to relate the struggles, and it's like counselling in a sense. So sometimes, I mean, I wish I would love to hear a little bit more positivity in R&B, but it is what it is. I'd love to see boy bands come back. I'd love to see girl bands come back. I hope so. We need them. I think we need them at the moment.
If you love R&B, her music, she's nominated for 5 Grammys right now. She's killing it. Summer Walker just drops an incredible EP. I think do you know what it is? You just have to do a lot more searching. Like, you just have to do a bit more searching nowadays because there are so many. And then at the forefront, her is at the forefront, to be honest, but at the forefront, they don't want to place the most talented nowadays because they just want easy to digest kind of stuff. But they're still there. They're still there.
Absolutely. There is a modern day equivalent of Donny Hathaway and Marvin Gaye. And all of these great artists that we grew up loving. There's modern equivalents. We may not have found them yet, but they're there. They're absolutely there.
I'll shout out a new artist I came across recently called Jules, just kind of an Afrobeats artist. And one track he's got out now called Guan. I find the lyrical content in a lot of the Afrobeats tracks is quite, I don't know what they're saying half the time, but it gets to me. I don't know if that's just me, but I don't know I like the fusion of the kind of Jamaican vibe and the kind of African vibe. And like I said, half time I don't know what they're saying, but lyrically, it cuts through.
Instruments speak as well. And that's why I never pick up the lyrics first. I always pick up the instruments, the rhythm, the beat, because that's a universal language. It doesn't matter. I mean, some people can't dance to the beat. They dance to the lyrics. That's another story. However, most melanated people can pick up on those. I said it. They can pick up on those instruments. And for me, that's traditional. That's heritage.
Just quickly, I was just going back to like the hip hop stuff and the grimy and more stuff. An artist called Kojo Radical, who is working with lots of traditional grime artists. He's in the field, but he's pushing pure positivity and good energy and good vibes. But within that space, and rising through it quite rapidly. So like, there's definitely there's pockets of there you go, another like it's still there. It's still there. Like these artists are definitely pushing the boundaries.
Just to wrap, as I said at the start, I want a track from all three of you that lyrically has something in it that, come on, there must be a track. I'll start off. One track that I love because of the lyrical content is Jill Scott's "He Loves Me." You know the song?
I know the entire Jill Scott catalogue, thank you very much.
That track for me, the wordplay, it hits me. It's an amazing track, period, but lyrically, another level. Claire, you go.
Does it have to be current or can it be...
Any track you want, any track. Just pick one.
I'm a hopeless romantic. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Okay. Why do the lyrics in that track particularly resonate with you?
Because I relate it to almost every single member of my family, and it moves me emotionally. It's just pure and authentic love, genuine. It doesn't matter whether you're here physically or not. I will always love you. Yeah.
Rodney, come on.
You're killing me, bro. Like, you know what?
And it can't be one of your tracks.
No, it won't be one of mine. There's an artist whose name I can't remember as I sit here right now. And I don't even, I'm assuming the name of the song is I Owe You Nothing. But I found it on YouTube from being on my son's YouTube, actually. And she's mixed race and from Europe. I think she's from Norway or Denmark. And the lyrics is, so I'm going to give you this so you can go and look for it yourselves. She sings, I owe you nothing. I be myself, I ain't fronting. Yeah, that's the lyrics. And that song, when I say that song moves me, she's and the imagery of it too. You're like, please, I really feel like I'm letting you down by not knowing her name. But go and look for it. I owe you nothing. I be myself. I ain't fronting. No. I don't sing. But go and look for that song on YouTube. And if you find that song makes me happy. Real talk. That song makes me happy.
And finally,
I will say I'll put a female rapper on, Rhapsody featuring J. Cole, Sojourner. It was released last October, I believe. Incredible song, takes you through obviously the civil rights and stuff like that. Just the wordplay with the prominent figures in the movement, and then it takes you to present day as well. It's therapy, man. Both of them are lyricists to their purest form, and they're incredible. Rhapsody is an incredible lyricist as well, and she's incredibly underrated. Kendrick Lamar's featured with her, Cole now, obviously, too.
Busta Rhymes has worked with her. Like, she's worked with a lot of people.
She's incredible.
Also, Black Thought's last EP was an incredible piece of writing as well. Incredible piece.
Okay, I'm going to note these down and check them out later on. Before we go, you got a tour coming up. Tell us about your tour quickly.
Got a tour coming up, across the UK, starting the 28th of February in Leeds. We end up on April 11th. We end up in the Jazz Cafe. Lots of dates in between that. Try and get out, come see us. It's called the Kingdom Tour. So it's me, Black Twang, and Ty. MC Ty, and we're just trying to re-energize the scene that we come from, and show some love for the people and for the audience. So look out for us. Definitely, you can check that on www.kingdem.co.uk, and that's KINGDEM. Cause we are the kingdom. You feel me? Living in the kingdom. You feel me?
Guys, you guys smashed it. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We are on YouTube. As you're watching again, I'll mention again, subscribe. Click the button down there. All of our socials. We're on Instagram. It's all .Blakademik. We're on Twitter, Blakademik TV, and we're on Facebook, It's All Blakademik. No C's in the Blakademik. Blakademik with no C's. Till next week, peace.